You have done the work, you have read the books, watched the videos, maybe gathered 1,000 codes, but you still feel that persistent heaviness. And you still have that voice in your head that says, this it shouldn't be it. Otherwise, I would have been much further along by now. And as soon as you have a bad day or an old reaction, the same voice finds its evidence and says, see, it's not working. You are failing again. I used to have a similar conversation in my head. And I realized that the reason I feel like I'm failing in my inner work is that we are taught to measure inner work like we measure everything else based on their immediate results. And that's because we are so used to doing things and then getting results. And we have become so obsessed with finding those results that we have completely forgotten how this process actually works. We have also been conditioned to think that if I work hard, I should see a result. We go to the gym, we work out, our muscles get sore, but we see them growing. Or we study for a test and we pass. But inner work isn't a linear process. So it might not give you those quick results. You might have a fabulous week, and then the week after, you might have an emotional meltdown, and you feel like you're back at a square one. But that doesn't mean that you are failing. It's just the nature of this process. Inner work isn't like I don't know, a vending machine that you put, for example, an hour of meditation in, and then you get a peace trophy out. It's more like growing a tree in the middle of a forest. You might look at that tree or stare at that tree for weeks and swear that it hasn't moved an inch. And you would think that it hasn't grown. But is that really true? I think the reason we are so obsessed with those results is that old feeling of not being enough. It's that part of us that looks for some sort of reward, a gold star, or I don't know, a healed certificate, something that tells you you're okay. And if we see that part for what it is, which is an old habit of thinking, then we can let go of the need to constantly look for results. I'm not saying that there won't be results. There definitely will be results. As we grow and heal, we become more and more steady in our new levels of awareness, and things get easier. But constantly looking for results is what actually keeps us stuck. Now, there is another reason for feeling that we are failing in our inner work. And that's because when we start our inner work, we understand our mental and emotional patterns. And we literally can see when our reactions coming in real time. We know why we react the way we do, but we still do them. We still can't change. And that gives evidence to that voice that says, see, it's not working, you are failing. But what really happens is simple. You have been reacting the way you react for a while, maybe decades. And those reactions aren't just some thoughts, they are physical habits stored in your body. When you start to understand your mental and emotional patterns and you are getting that kind of intellectual awareness of what is happening, your mind gets it really fast, but your body is a denser, slower machine. So it takes time for your body to flush out all those old chemistry and form new pathways. So, if you have been observing your mental and emotional patterns and you still see them that they show up, that doesn't mean that you are failing. It just means that your body needs some time to catch up with your mind. And when I say that, it reminds me of a friend of mine. He was a musician and he was working on this specific note and he couldn't get it right no matter how hard he worked. Finally, he gave up. But after a few weeks, when he was casually playing another piece of music, he came across the same note and he played it perfectly. It was effortless. He didn't get it because he worked harder on it. He got it because his fingers finally caught up with his mind. The same happens with your inner work. One day you will find yourself in a conversation that used to trigger you a lot, and you just see that the reaction is just not there. You weren't trying to be calm, you weren't using a technique, but your body caught up with the work that you did months ago. I talked more deeply about this gap between that intellectual awareness and the shift that needs to happen in my last two videos um, called, let me see, why self-awareness makes you suffer more, and the other one is why you understand your reactions but can't change. But today, I just wanted to sit with you in that frustration, in that feeling that your inner work isn't getting anywhere, and tell you that it is working. And I hope I conveyed that to you. Until next time.